So I wanted to capture what it's like just ahead of doing a keynote. So I wanted to capture what it's like just ahead of doing a keynote because there's something about knowing that you have the potential to positively impact and influence a room full of people who have given up their time to be in a space for their own personal and professional development. And so today I am doing a keynote at the Captiva Summit, which is in Birmingham. And I'm going to be talking about making moves that matter and what momentum is like in uncertain times. So yeah, it's one of those topics that I'm really glad to be able to be focusing on the fact that times are uncertain at the moment and what that can look like. And, I'm going to refer to things as universal as cost of living and everything feeling and being more expensive. And then also a range of other things which, depending on your identity and location, may also be making the times more uncertain for you. And so in that context, how do we move forward? How do we move forward positively in our professional development, in our personal development? Sometimes the question can be, how do you get through the day? But no, there is, typically when you look for it, there is so much to be optimistic about and grateful for. And I've always been a glass half full person, always, as long as I can remember. But even I will admit that it's not just sort of the headlines that you look at, but it's what's all around us that can sometimes test that optimism. And I think the leadership piece is such an interesting thing at the moment because, since we were kids, I don't know about you in terms of how you were raised, but my mom and dad said variations of, if sorry, do sometimes you hear things and you're just like, oh my gosh, is that like a politically correct thing to say these days? But it was things like, oh well, if Bobby jumped off the bridge, would you? I don't know if that was the saying, but but it was ultimately the idea of like being yourself and going your own way regardless of what other people are doing. And with the sorts of leadership that we're seeing these days, if you are somebody who believes in humans and human rights and, all people being able to do well and progress, it feels like there isn't a lot of that energy at the moment, at least in the UK, where I am, at least in countries that I'm a little bit more aware of. And so it does become down to us to see where there are examples of that leadership, and there really are, but also to be those leaders and to create that momentum yourself. And that is what I'm hoping that the delegates today will be able to reflect on during and following the talk that I'm delivering. Because while there are a number of things which are primarily out of our control, when it comes to the workplace and it comes to leadership and managers, there is some that is within our control, and actually seeing our people and respecting our people. The audience that I'm going to be speaking to today are people who have done like leadership and management related apprenticeships. So they are going to be in a position to influence people on a day-to-day basis. And they will play a massive part in, whether somebody feels good in their place of work and feels positive about the work that they're doing and feels like they're contributing to something meaningful. Because I know for me, and it was probably especially early in my career, I learned so much about myself. And and how I wanted to work, partly due to the managers that I had, and whether they were good, whether they were bad, whether they were supportive, whether they weren't. So to be able to speak to people who are in that position, to be able to influence their colleagues, their employees, that feels like a really positive thing. So yeah, that is the keynote that I am going to be doing today. They are anticipating around 300 or so people in the room and a similar amount online. And for me, as somebody who delivers keynotes, it's really important, yes, to be thought-provoking, yes, to be reflective, and also to present some new ideas, which I will be sharing as I talk about momentum in the framework of momentum that I will be talking about. But also, it's important to create a space in which people can participate. At least that's important for me. And so, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to doing today. And yeah, hoping that it's going to kick off the day really well. I am in the second slot, so after one of the organizers who's going to be introducing it and really setting the tone for the day, I am the first keynote after that. And then they will have one after the break, and then they will have one after the lunch. But yeah, it's a lovely opportunity to be part of setting the tone for the day, encouraging people to think, reflect on themselves and their styles. And I'm not going to be going much into leadership style today at all, actually. That's one of the later keynotes, which I'm sure will be brilliant, because that's always such a good thing to look at. But yeah, we're really going to be looking at momentum and what that means in uncertain times. So that's my take on keynotes: being there, being present, being as engaging as you can be with the people in the room and the people online, encouraging some active participation as well, and hopefully creating a space in which everybody can take at least one or two things away that even when they get back to their norm, outside a room which might feel really motivational, as they, jump on a delayed train later or, walk down the road in the rain, they will still be able to go into the next working week feeling like, okay, I've been able to take some things from that talk. I've been able to take some things from that conference. And it really feels like an honor to contribute in that way. I am Gina Visram, career coach and consultant and speaker. If you would be interested in exploring whether I can deliver a talk or a workshop for anything that you are organizing, feel free to get in touch. I am based in London, but can travel beyond the UK and beyond, of course. And yeah, feel free to get in touch if you like. My details are around here somewhere. All right. And if you have watched this video because you are doing a keynote yourself, then please feel free to let me know how it goes. Let me know what your particular topic is. And if there is anything else that I can share in terms of more specific tips or anything like that, I would be happy to do so. Okay, take care. Have a good day. Bye. Enjoyed this video? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure that you come back for another video soon.